back to another video. As you can see by the description down below, or the title down below, we're going to be talking about Auni's anger. I want to apologize in advance. As you can probably see right now, the lighting is going to start getting a little wonky. The natural daylight in this place has been insane since I've started recording, and I look like butter. So I'm here and excited to show you guys a lot of the sneak peeks, a lot of the never before seen final rough drafts, first drafts, beginning drafts, sketches, storyboards, all of that stuff. I won't be hitting every single bullet today, simply just because that would make it a very long video. But I do want to go over the basics, and then hopefully, Lord willing, I can also do separate videos explaining or going more into depth about my writing process, my illustration process, my publishing process, all of that for you as well. I do want to start off by saying that I get it. I know a lot of people see me as the artiste, the painter, the drawer, sketcher, the one who makes clothes, the one who sings, songwrites, all of that. But one of the main things I did since I was a little girl was write stories. I would write stories all the time. Short stories, plays, musicals, you name it, you can ask my sisters. I would literally write plays and musicals for at least 4. My baby sister was small at the time. But at least 3 or 4 person plays and musicals, write the scripts, go along with the music, write the music with it, all of that. So I've always had a passion, a pure passion for writing. I've always had a pure passion for illustrating, creating cute drawings to go along with that. Here I go looking like butter again. And so I'm very happy to have published one of my first books. It's not the first thing that I've published. I started publishing things when I was in high school. I actually won a short story contest when I was in high school. I had an assignment to do. We had to write a short story. So I wrote a short story, and I just randomly found this contest, and I was like, let me just like submit my composition assignment as a contest input and see if I get it. And lo and behold, I got it. I won, along with a few other writers, young writers, and we got published. They created like the cover art for our books and all that stuff, and that was my first time being published, along with me also being able to publish a poem as well. When I was in high school, I entered into another contest, and they just created like a composition of poetry from the youth, and my poem was published and it won as well. So this is not my first publishing rodeo. However, this is the first time that I am marketing it. This is the first time that I'm sharing it with everyone around me. I definitely do want to embrace this new side of me now, where it's just like, yes, Naomi Fitzgerald she's an author and an illustrator. This is definitely the goal for myself this year. So I would love it for you guys to come along with me on this journey. And I appreciate all of your love and support this far, with how many people have purchased the book, not just for themselves, but for other family members, for friends, things of that nature, for their classrooms, all of that. I see it, I notice it, and I thank you. Okay, so the first thing that I did was just a quick storyboard rough draft, and it looked something like this. So I created a storyboard just to kind of get my thoughts out about how I wanted everything to be for the start of my book. But here we have it again. And then I also had to figure out how big I wanted my thing to be. This is it, like, I had to draw something. I didn't know how I wanted her to be, but I knew I wanted her to be wearing slippers. I knew I wanted her to have pom-poms, big puffy pom-poms, and big eyes. Yeah, that's the content of it all. Just me trying to place out all of like my pages and everything like that, along with me figuring out the actual size of my book and then how I would connect it. Here you can see as well the actual words of everything on page this, and this. These are going to be her illustrations, and they're pretty much a description of what I wanted her to look like on each page. And then right here, all of these crazy notes of like dimensions, bleed, cuts, sticky notes, all of that. My mind was just really, it was going to work. To the interesting part, finally developed a better head type for a 5-year-old girl. Did a lot of like research, did a lot of like sketching and drafts and drawing, trying to figure it out. And this still wasn't clearly my best, but it was a start to where I was trying to head. And then also this is just another clip to Auni. Yeah, a lot of people say that she looks like me. I have to repetitively say this. No, Auni is not me. Auni is not me, although I did spring a couple of her characteristics and her quirks from my personalities, yes, but she's not me. She's not me. Now we get to the actual rough draft live sample of the book. So once I got finished with pretty much getting all of my storylines, she said, he said, all of that down, then I went into some of the details of creating an actual book. Literally just took paper, literally measured every single page, 8.5 by 8.5, cut them out, stapled them. I had to staple them like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times because the paper was thick. And then on each page I wrote every single detail that I wanted the book to have. I also want to pause right here just to talk about character development, and I think this might actually be something that I go a lot deeper into in a separate video, but it took me a lot of time to figure out my character and how I wanted to develop them. I didn't want to create illustrations pertaining to the adults in the book because it's about Auni. So that's why you see and you read, mom says, dad says, uncle says, but you never see their faces because they're irrelevant. Auni is important in the book. So that's why I only showed her. Spoiler alert. And then the one that breaks the hold of all of her anger, her little brother, so that's why he's included as well, because he is important. That's why he also had more than one page as well. So just to backtrack on that. And a lot of my characters, I don't like to show everything about them right away. You can tell a lot from Auni from the way that she looks, her skin complexion, her hair type, the fact that she wears a head covering, the fact that she wears a dress, clearly overall dress type, the fact that she wears cozy funny bunny slippers, the fact that she's wearing an oversized sweater or shirt underneath her clothes, giving you like that feeling of just needing to be comforted, comfortable at all times. I also wanted to give a sense of her family. Everybody calls Auni something different, and I'll get to that more in the book. For example, mom calls Auni Auni. Mom probably has other nicknames for her, but she calls her Auni in this book. Dad calls Auni Bun Bun. Auntie calls Auni Carino. And honestly, that's a telltale sign that she is in a, what's the word? Multicultural family. I wanted Auni to be a young girl who grew up in a diverse culture. So part of her family clearly is one culture that's not specified in this book yet, but you do know simply just by how some of her family members talk to her that she is of some kind of Hispanic descent, from the page of where it's like, what's the matter, Carino? Like that type of situation. And then of course her little brother calls her Nini. So we have a plethora of different nicknames that she was given in this book to showcase her relationship throughout her family dynamic this far. And then also her ethnicity and nationality also can be a little bit of a telltale sign by how some of her family members talk to her in the book. I do plan on making Auni as a series. So as each book progresses, I hope to show you more and more and more about herself, her brother, and any other family or friend that she introduces to the whole wide world in due time. Auni's anger. This was originally how the inspo page was gonna be. It was gonna have like her hair kind of spelling out the words Auni's anger, but once the entire book was done and finished, I was like, I want to include some of my original sketches into the books that I create. I feel like that'll give it a better, like down-to-earth feeling of myself as an artist. So that's what I decided to go for. You can see these pages. This is Auni. Just writing. So Auni is angry. This is Auni's anger. All of that. Creating this book, I'm so happy that I am a graphic designer because I knew all the dimensional terms and everything that I needed to create this book. However, it still was a little bit challenging, especially for the pages that had Auni's anger, because these pages were connected pages, and those were the stars that you saw on the previous drafts that I showed you guys. So that means that I'm working on two separate pages. At the same time, I have to make them connect when I put them all together for the PDF to be published. So it took a little bit of trial and error, but I finally got it down and I created like these little drafts, and I'll put some of them here if I can find them. But they were guidelines that I had to create for myself to then hopefully stick within the pages and not go outside or over or to the side or whatever the case was. That way the lines were very close to being connected when the pages were opened up like this. So we have a little bit more Auni's anchor. I'm gonna turn the light down that way you guys can see it a little bit more. But yeah, this one was one of my favorite pages to draw, because I'm like, I get to show her slippers in a different way versus like the other way when the brother is introduced, when the brother's sitting down with Auni. So in the story as well, I did choose and I opted to have my own handwriting. I did this because I really don't want to be connected to certain fonts. I know out there in the writing world, yes, there are common, popular, normal, average fonts that writers use, whether it's a novel, short story, poems, children's books that they use that are common, but I wanted the handwriting to be legible but also very unique and different. That's also why I didn't create the writings in a straight line, and I'll show you the guidelines that I used for that as well, but I wanted them to be in a downward way to showcase the mood, the ambiance, the aesthetics, all of that. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm some kind of geek or nerd or whatever, but when I hear those words and someone's acting, or if they were actually saying this in person, I see the word spaced out. What's wrong, Auni? Mom says. Nothing. Like I see it in different lines and different, I don't know, flows. So that's why it was written the way that it was written. Hence, all of those. And then we have the back as well. What should I do for the back? And then I was just doodling one day and I was like, what if I like created all these different expressions of her on her face, and then something in the back would like, what will calm Auni's anger? What will it take to get rid of Auni's anger? All of that. I uploaded everything to be published. The next step was to order my sample, the reading sample. That way I could make sure that everything was up to par to the way that I wanted it to be. And that was the night that I almost cried, because it was in my hands and I was like, Naomi, you're actually doing this. Like, you finally put yourself out there and you did it finally without saying like, okay, this is the book. Because I've done that a lot of times. I've been in the process before in the past I've been writing for years, and every single time I write a new story or a new novel, I'm always saying to myself, this is the one, this is the one, this is the one. And then when it's finally time for me to like publish, I chicken out and I'm just like, but it could be so much better. So I don't want to post it. I don't want to publish it. I don't want to share it with the world. And that's kind of just how I've been operating recently, on and off. But I'm so happy I did, because Auni's Anger has opened up a new world for me. And every time I check back on the reports on how the book is doing, Amazon specifically, it's doing really well. So I thank you guys for everyone who's out there supporting me, who has shared the book, who has bought it, who has purchased it for themselves or for someone else. I really do appreciate it. It's making me smile so much, and I can't wait to get this distributed into bookstores and libraries and all that stuff later on in the future. So thank you so much. On to the next. So like I said, I had to order a sample to see how the feel was, how the pages looked, color corrections, all of that. And then I got this. This is what it came like. And it was made specifically like this so that way it couldn't be like resold. And it was because when I ordered the the rough draft or the sample or whatever you want to call it, it's like at a discounted price. So I guess to keep people from buying it at that very low discounted price to then resell it, they create this tape, not for resale, not for resale, not for resale. But that's okay. That is perfectly fine. But why am I blurry? So yeah, when I felt it, I was like, ooh. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The color choice, I'm very happy with the color choice. And this is something that I didn't touch about a lot either in the beginning process, but I spent a lot of time figuring out what colors am I gonna choose, because I knew I wanted it to be minimalistic. So I had to figure out a color that I could use that would be the same through every page, what color would I use for her clothing. Her clothing was going to be the same throughout the whole entire story as well. Nobody's clothes was being changed. So once I stuck with the color, well, once I picked a color, I had to stick with it. And for Auni, you know, I'm just like, she looks like a sunflower girl. So Auni symbolizes, according to Google, Auni symbolizes joy and happiness. I did spread a little bit of my personality in her clothes as well, because as you can see, she loves her overalls. She loves her oversized sleeves and whatnot. And yeah, she loves her hair out. I have my hair out today. It's normally not out. It's normally in a twist and a clip up or something like that. When you're opening up the book, the first page, the first thing you see is a cute little bunny slipper. If you've read the story, then you get how these things coincide. If you've not read the story yet, then you'll not get it. Sorry, you're gonna have to buy the book so you can understand what we're talking about here. And like I said before, I decided to leave sketches of the original sketches, like how it looks on my iPad before I colored anything in. And then also handwritten, all that. The handwriting it was a little tricky because it's not like I'm just typing the letters and going nicely on the screen. I had to actually, again, make my own guidelines, make sure everything is like nice and neat and can be legible. So I did have to go over it a couple of times, but besides that, everything was pretty much good to go. One thing that I was on the fence about was the colors of Auni's anger. I knew I definitely wanted the first one to start out with being red, and I did that. But as the anger grows, I'm like, should I stay within the color palette of soft blues, soft yellows, soft greens? But then when I did that, I was like, I don't really like how this looks. So I still stayed within the color palette to an extent, but it goes off on the way end here. And it's just bold colors, and that's okay. You know, I was a little like, I wanted to stay completely consistent, but at the end of the day, the anger is the star of the show. Well, one of the stars of the show. So it's okay if it's a little different, you know. All the while, the anger is all jumbled up and crazy. And then when it says Auni's anger stopped, now you see everything is just, there's no in and out. It's just everything just seems so much more aligned and at peace. The colors, so I tried to make everything connect, and so the colors that were just from her anger, once they all got cleared up, she took a deep breath. Now it goes and it turns into what? A flower. And then the last thing, of course, y'all know I'm a foodie, so I figured why not end the book with her eating food. Whenever I do decide to include food in the books in for the future, I know for a fact that I'm definitely gonna want to again showcase more of like that cultural being, although she's only eating pasta in this. But yeah, and even the ending parts, like everything just, it goes so well. Because like I said, this is my baby, and I'm very proud of myself for even getting this far in the first place. So clearly after this stage, then that's what comes the marketing and the book signings and all of that stuff. I've signed a good couple of books. Shout out to my sister Faith. She took the book that she bought and she brought it to school and showed a lot of teachers that I had when I was in school, and my art teacher specifically. She went ahead and she purchased a copy, and Faith brought it home for me to sign to bring back to her. So it's things like that where it's just like, Naomi, I'm so happy that you did this. You are going out and you're doing the things that once made you feel super uncomfortable. And even if there's a fear of failing, you did it anyways. And for that, I'm very grateful. And of course, I give all glory and honor to God, because without God, I couldn't have done this. The day that I had to put this book in for publication, uploaded everything went so smoothly, and to this day I cannot understand why or how. You know, when they say put God first or God first, they're not playing, because I really did have God first, you know, in that season of my life, still to this now striving to have God first, and it felt so rewarding when everything just went so smoothly, so well. The day of the date of my publication, I got it all uploaded, I got it all submitted, and I was done, like, I would say maybe a good week and a half to 2 weeks before my deadline actually was. So everything worked out really well. If you have not ordered a book, I really highly suggest that you do that. And even if you've already ordered the book, you don't really have kids of your own to want to order the book or whatever the case is, order it for somebody else or share the link and get people to purchase this book, because I've heard a lot of reviews. Maybe honestly I'll share some reviews with you guys in this video as well, but I've gotten a lot of good reviews and I will share some with you guys before we end this video, because the lighting is not going to be any nicer to me at this point. Also, shout out to Esther. We were at church this past Sunday and she had the book with her and we all went out to eat at the pizzeria, and we were all at this big long connected tables and she checked out the book and she read it to us and everybody was just there. And we were grown folks having a conversation about what the book meant, what meanings we got from it, what story and message we got from it, all that. Like, we were grown folks sitting listening to Esther read the book to us, and it felt good just sitting back and listening to everybody's reactions whenever a new page of anger would turn, or her facial expressions, or just her expression in general with some of the pages and stuff like that. So it was refreshing. That experience was very refreshing for me. This person says, great job on the book. The illustrations are beautiful and expressive, and the lessons are great for a kid to understand. Well done. And she also asked me to sign her book once it was purchased, and of course she did make sure to bring it to me so that I could sign it for her. Another one, someone said, I love the book. I bought it for my grandson and for someone else, and they love the book. The illustrations were amazing and right on point with the emotion in the book. I'll try and upload more reviews and things like that. I've been getting a lot of good feedback, but at the same time I haven't been telling people to actually go on Amazon to leave a review. So if you're watching it this far, please, if you've bought a book on Amazon, please go ahead and leave the reviews that you guys, the wonderful reviews that you guys are sending me. Please leave those in the reviews on Amazon as well, so let people know, because that would help me out a lot and them as well. I know for a fact for me, whenever I'm ordering something on Amazon, it's rare that I will buy something if there's not a review, especially if they're not good reviews. But a lot of the people who have purchased the book so far, it's been nothing but great reviews, thriving reviews, and I would love other people to read those as well. Okay, so someone else said, enjoyed reading and looking at the beautiful pictures in this book. As an adult, it reminded me just to breathe. What a phenomenal job. I was like, what is Auni mad about? And I did include this info on my website for people to read about. A lot. And then of course, I wouldn't have been able to create any of these illustrations if it wasn't for my dear old iPad. And everything is created on my iPad using Procreate and this Apple Pen. So 73 artwork pages, how I created everything pertaining to Auni's anger in this book. A lot of rough drafts, a lot of duplications to fix this, to do that, to change that. But that's how I created my illustrations. And maybe I'll leave some like time-lapse recordings of how I created Auni and some of the illustrations for certain pages. I do want to spend more time talking to you guys about the illustration process or the story making process as a writer, as an illustrator, as an artist, as a publisher, all that stuff. Self-publishing artist. So with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed some of the sneak peeks of this video. I apologize one more time for the lighting. It's been going up and down. I've been like reaching to fix the dial every single time that it changes because my camera does not change it automatically. As I said before, if you have not purchased it yet or you want to purchase it again, links are in the description box below. There were some people who, well, one person in particular, and if he's watching this video, he knows who he is. But he ordered the book on Amazon and was like, what, you didn't sign the book? I was like, no. I was like, the books that are sold from my website on theilebex.com, I will leave that link for you guys down below. Those books I can get to, and you guys can leave a customization request when you order it for who I'm signing it out to. You don't get that option when you order on Amazon, and a lot of people have been wanting me to sign them. So if you want your sign, if you want a little message in there, then definitely order it from my website, not on Amazon. One of the ideas that I did have to do is doing kind of like a little package deal on my website with the Auni's book. So I thought maybe like a cute sticker would go perfect with this book when someone orders it. So not only will they get the book and signed on the inside, but also they could get like an Auni sticker or a sticker that has like the bunny or the sister and the brother or a phrase from the book or whatever the case is, or just the title of the book on a cute little sticker. I figured like those would be perfect and cute as well. So let me know if you guys think that I should do that as well. And I'll definitely be hands down excited to do that for you. It takes a lot from You know, the simple things of just like just a regular note. You know what they say? Write it down and make it plain. They're not, this is for real. Like, this is for real. So writing it down, it always starts with paper. I don't care how many times I've worked digitally on my iPad. It does not matter. Don't ever underestimate the power of drafts. If I didn't have my drafts, I would have been like, okay, what am I doing? But you have this first, everything is organized in your brain. You know what you're doing. And from there on out, it's good to go. And then you have this on top of that, the little sample book. Then you got the little sample print to copy, and all the illustrations and everything that are on here. And then I didn't even make mention of my computadora because a lot of the work from once I'm done with my illustrations, then the work gets sent to my computer, and then I have this whole entire layout that makes the book. So I have to put them in all the pages, make sure the bleed is correct, make sure all the page dimensions are correct, exporting that whole entire thing into a PDF, then also working on the cover art specifically, because the cover pages, the front and the back, are separate from the inside pages, of course, as you know, or maybe you didn't know, so maybe you learned something new today. Once all that was complete, then I uploaded it to be published. It's been a long day. Been a long day. I'm so happy to have accomplished this, and again, I thank everyone for their support. So without further ado, please love, enjoy. Don't forget to self-care. Leave comments down below. Both links in the description box below can be found. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Look out for more videos on the illustration process, the artistic process, and also look out for more videos particularly pertaining to Auni's anger as well. So see you guys next time.